We like to think we have a pretty good handle on our world. We've mapped the continents, decoded DNA, and figured out the laws that keep the planets in orbit. But every now and then, something pops up that throws a wrench in the works, something that just doesn't fit. These are the discoveries that keep scientists guessing, the artifacts and phenomena that challenge what we think we know about history, the planet, and even the universe itself. What if the biggest secrets aren't waiting for us in some distant galaxy, but are hiding right here, sometimes in plain sight? Join us as we explore the most baffling finds that, to this day, we still can't quite explain. An ancient computer out of time, picture this. It's the year 1900. A crew of Greek sponge divers is sheltering from a nasty storm near the island of Antioch. Once the weather clears, they dive into the unfamiliar waters and stumble upon an ancient Roman shipwreck. For a year, they pull up incredible treasures, bronze statues, marble sculptures. Archaeologists were floored. This was the Antikythera mechanism. Using X-rays and advanced imaging on its 82 fragile pieces, researchers uncovered the device's true purpose. And planets keep track of the 4-year cycle of the Olympic Games, and even forecasting. The engineering, especially its differential gear system, was on a level that humanity supposedly wouldn't achieve again for another 1,000 years. With the cathedral clocks of medieval Europe, it was an astronomical calculator, what we now believe is the world's earliest known analog computer. But among the priceless art was something else, a corroded lump of bronze and wood that was easy to overlook. Who had the knowledge to build something so sophisticated in the 2nd century BC? It's not something you can see, but something you hear, or maybe something you feel. It's known as the Tao's hum. And why did this incredible technology seemingly vanish from history? But here's where it gets weird. Only about 2% of the people in Taos can hear it. For those hearers, it's a constant, invasive noise that can trigger headaches, dizziness, and sleepless nights. They investigated everything you could think of: local industry, power lines, weird geological vibrations, even secret military projects. The result? Nothing. Their equipment couldn't pick up any persistent, anomalous sound, even while the hearers confirmed it was happening. It was a sound that seemed to refuse to be recorded. Recent studies suggest the design might have had flaws, causing the gears to jam, which has led some to think it was more of a teaching tool than a perfect instrument. You can't pinpoint its direction, and plugging your ears does nothing to stop it. This has led to a storm of theories. Could it be otoacoustic emissions? Sounds generated inside the hearer's own ears? Or maybe it's infrasound, frequencies too low for most of us to perceive, but that a few sensitive people can pick up on. Of course, there are also wilder ideas about global surveillance systems or strange seismic events. Decades later, the Tao's hum is one of the world's most frustrating acoustic puzzles, forcing us to ask whether the mystery is in the town, or hidden somewhere in the complex workings of human perception itself. But that doesn't change the fact that its craftsmanship was centuries ahead of its time. The Antikythera mechanism is a silent testament to a lost chapter of human genius, making you wonder, what else is still down there, waiting to be found? It wasn't until the lump started to dry out that it cracked open, revealing something that just shouldn't have been there. A breathtakingly complex system of interlocking gears. If you're finding these mysteries as fascinating as we do, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on, because we have a lot more secrets to uncover together. Now, let's get back to the unexplained. At over 2,000 years old, it was designed to predict the positions of the sun, moon. The real mystery isn't just what it is, but how it was. The sound no one can source. In the quiet high-desert town of Taos, New Mexico, a small slice of the population has been plagued by a persistent, maddening mystery for decades. First reported back in the early 90s, the hum is a low-frequency, droning sound, often compared to a distant diesel engine. Naturally, scientists descended on the town with highly sensitive sound detection equipment, ready to crack the case. The puzzle only deepens from there. The hum isn't even consistent. Some describe it as a whir, others a buzz. From ancient computers to phantom sounds, the puzzles are everywhere. The sailing stones of Death Valley, deep in a remote corner of Death Valley National Park. There's a dry lake bed called Racetrack Playa. It's one of the flattest places on Earth, but scattered across its cracked, barren surface is a truly bizarre sight. Huge rocks, some weighing hundreds of pounds, appear to move all on their own, leaving long tracks carved into the mud behind them. For decades, this was the mystery of the sailing stones. Nobody had ever actually seen them move. A rock would be in one place, and months later, it would be somewhere else entirely. with a new trail marking its impossible journey. Some tracks were straight, others curved gracefully, and some had sharp, angular turns. How could massive rocks slide across a flat landscape with no one, and nothing, pushing them? Theories ranged from hurricane force winds and slippery algae to strange magnetic fields, and, of course, aliens, asteroids, comets, you name it. That all changed in 2017. An observatory in Hawaii spotted something moving way too fast to be caught by the sun's gravity. It was our first confirmed interstellar visitor, and it was given the Hawaiian name, Aumuā, meaning a messenger from afar, arriving first. For years, scientists were stumped. They even installed GPS units on the rocks in what one researcher called the most boring experiment ever. And then they just waited. The mystery finally cracked in the winter of 2013, thanks to a rare and perfect combination of events. First, its shape, based on how its brightness changed as it tumbled. They figured it was extremely elongated, maybe 10 times longer than it was wide, like a cosmic cigar or a flat pancake. We've never seen an asteroid or comet in our system that looks like that. Researchers happened to be there when, first, a light rain left a thin layer of water on the playa. All it took was a light breeze, barely 10 miles an hour. As Aumuā swung around the sun, it sped up, pushed by a mysterious force that wasn't gravity. Astronomers have found other interstellar objects, like the comet Tuai Borisov, and just recently in 2025, another visitor confirmed as 3I. Each one is different, deepening the mystery of what's wandering the space between stars. These aren't just strange campfire stories. They are profound puzzles that challenge our understanding of history, physics, and our own place in the universe. They're the anomalies that push science forward, forcing us to question what we think we know. The search for answers continues. What baffling find do you think is the most compelling? Let us know in the comments below. Aumuā was a brief glimpse into the wider galaxy, a messenger that left us with far more questions than answers. Now, comets do this all the time. It's called out, where melting ice and dust create a tail that acts like a tiny rocket engine. But our best telescopes looked at Aumuā and saw nothing. No tail, no gas, no dust. If you enjoyed exploring these mysteries, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who loves a good puzzle. We'll see you next time. These massive sheets of ice acted like sails, slowly pushing the rocks embedded in them across the thin film of water. The movement was almost imperceptible, just a few inches a second. But this is where the story takes a turn for the truly wild. Prominent Harvard astrophysicist, Avi Loeb, put forward a more radical idea. What if Aumuā was unnatural at all? He argued its acceleration could be caused by sunlight pushing on an extremely thin surface, like a solar sail or a probe. The theory is highly controversial, but the fact that it's even on the table shows just how weird Aumuā is. After decades of speculation, the journey was finally witnessed. While science has offered a beautifully elegant answer, it is a great reminder that the most baffling puzzles can have solutions hidden in a delicate dance of elements. Even though we know the how, some minor details about the perfect conditions required are still being studied. Then, as the cold desert night set in, that water froze into a paper-thin sheet of ice. As the morning sun began to warm the playa, the ice started to melt and break into huge, floating panels. The messenger from another star system, think about it. For nearly all of history, every object we've ever observed in our solar system was from our solar system. And what a strange messenger it was. As astronomers frantically tried to study it before it disappeared back into deep space, the oddities piled up. Then, there was its movement. So, what was pushing it? Natural explanations were proposed, like it being a hydrogen iceberg, with a tail that would be invisible to us. We'll probably never know for sure, as Aumuā is now long gone. But since its discovery, our cosmic census has grown. From ancient computers that rewrite our timeline of innovation to phantom sounds and messengers from other star systems, our world is clearly far from figured out. Each unsolved mystery is an invitation to stay curious. Maybe the most exciting truth isn't what we know, but realizing how much is still left to discover. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the unknown.